Hi everyone, this is Mike, and I have a couple of movies I'd like to review for you, both involving AI or artificial intelligence. They're both robot movies. They're in that genre, and they came out this year. The first one I'm going to review is Chappie, and the second review will be for Ex Machina. Now, Ex Machina will be filled with spoilers, so I'm going to give a brief review of that, and then I'm going to go into detail, because this is something that I can't really give my opinion on without spoiling major things. But let's start with Chappie. This one will be spoiler-free, and Chappie is about a robot who's basically like a child. He's naive, and he's in a very cruel world. He's in Johannesburg, South Africa, surrounded by gangs and stuff like that. So a guy builds an AI robot, and it has to basically, it learns like a child. It starts out, it's very naive and innocent, but as it learns, it grows up and it matures, and the guy behind the creator is forced to collaborate with some gang, some people in a gang, I guess, to do a heist or whatever. And what it follows is Chappie's relationship to them and to the world of Johannesburg, South Africa as a whole. Mainly the rougher side of it. I will say that I feel like Neil Blomkamp's movies all take place in the same universe. I feel like this could have easily been in the District 9 universe, and it might actually be. I don't know. But it looks like it's in the same universe as D9. Also, this is, surprisingly, from him, not very political. This is not a political... this is not as political as his previous works. So it's nice to see him, step away from that and do something a little bit more grounded, a little less grand. Even though it takes place in a world that could have easily been politicized when you have, the robotic police force and all of that. And also, speaking of RoboCop, I have to mention that because the antagonist is very similar to the antagonist in RoboCop. In fact, the big robot that they have to fight is basically Ed 209. So, what do I think of the film? My experience watching it. I'll tell you my experience watching it. I was looking forward to it. However, most of the time I wasn't really getting into it. However, the ending is so nerdy that I eventually felt... it's one of those films to me where the ending is so good. Despite the fact that the rest of the film really didn't intrigue me, the ending was good enough to where it made me really like this film. And I was watching it with a fellow friend of mine, and that made it even better. We were just totally geeking out after seeing the film, especially with the ending, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will tell you this: you will get a nerd boner if you watch it. Trust me. And that is a good thing. So, thumbs up for Chappie. Disconnected through most of it, but the ending brought me in and made me love it. So, yeah. And now, on to my second review. This is for the film Ex Machina. Now, here's a spoiler-free section. All I'm going to say for this is that the film is well-made, well-directed. There's some good performances in it, some interesting ideas, and do I recommend you go see it? Yeah, go check it out. Alright, from now on I'm going to be spoiling this one, so because I have some things I want to say about it. So spoilers galore. If you don't want this film spoiled, and trust me, you do not, stop this video now and then come back about 4 minutes and 30 seconds in and give my spoiler-filled take on it. Alright, so everybody who's left has seen the film or isn't going to see it but wants to be spoiled anyway. Spoilers from this point on. Here we go. Spoilers start now. This film is not really a film about artificial intelligence. You think that way going in, but it's really neo-feminist propaganda. and the reason why I use the term neo-feminist instead of feminist, because is that because the main protagonist is punished essentially for being a man, for being attracted to this AI. He gets abused and he gets trapped forever, and the film basically says he deserves it just for being a man. So if you're attracted to somebody you're objectifying them, and that makes you a pig. That's right. Just for being attracted to somebody, that's attraction is a justification according to the neo-feminist movement, and this film preaches it, and you know it is. You know it is. If it wasn't that, the villain would have been the only one, the other guy, the one that was actually sexist, who actually was objectifying these machines. They're really a metaphor for how a lot of pigs see women, unfortunately. You have a real sexist, and yes, he gets what he deserves, but this film takes it a step farther and says that all men, or basically, the guy who is simply attracted to the AI and actually wanted to save her and tried to get screwed over too. So it's not enough that you shouldn't be sexist. And by the way, you should not be sexist. The villain, the guy who ran everything, his character deserved what he got. That is true. But by having the main protagonist suffer also, because he liked the AI, guess what? Men, you're a pig because you're attracted to women. Attraction is objectification, according to neo-feminists. Now, traditional feminism, or regular feminism in general, is a good thing. Feminism as a whole is a good ideology. Equal rights for women is important. And yes, we men, we do have a blind spot when it comes to issues of sexism, just like we do when it comes to racism. My issue with the neo-feminist movement is when you are demonized for being a man, where masculinity is overall being called toxic. I don't agree to that. I think that masculinity is perfectly fine. I believe that femininity is perfectly fine. There's room for both in our society. What I don't want to see is there is oppression going on, and we need to fight it. There is sexism, and that does need to be dealt with. The war on women is an example of real sexism. Rape culture is another form of that, and so on and so on. But when men are demonized just for being men because they're attracted to somebody, or they like to watch manly things like they like manly games like God of War or GTA, that's sexist according to the neo-feminists. And to me, Ex Machina is basically that. It's well made. And also, I will say this: had the film had a better message, I don't think the story would have been as good. So even though the message was, I think, anti-male overall, it did make for a great story, and it did make for a better story, I think, from a narrative perspective. Having the protagonist, the hero, the good guy, suffer also does make sense from a narrative perspective. But make no mistake, the AI, the whole artificial intelligence thing is a surface narrative. The whole thing is Sarkeesian-esque, anti-male propaganda. Well made, and if you want to see a well-made film, go see it. But just remember, it's not really about artificial intelligence. That's just the surface narrative. So I am giving thumbs up to both films. They each have their issues, but they're both worth it watching, in my opinion. So there you go. That's my review or critique and thoughts on both Chappie and Ex Machina. So that's all I got to say about those films, and see you guys next time.